2 minutes. All right. Am I good, Frito? Get John Whittle in the room here. And appreciate everybody joining us this morning. We have Coach Mike Bobo, and then as a added bonus for y'all this morning, after Coach Bobo's done, we'll bring in Connor Shaw and let him visit with y'all for a little bit. So having said that, we'll let Coach Bobo make an opening statement and then open up for questions.
I don't have an opening statement, so I'll go ahead and take questions.
All right, we'll go to Ben Briner.
Hey, Coach. I know the news just dropped that publicly that Israel is opting out. Have any of their players come to you and said, besides Israel and JC, and said that they're going to opt out and not play out the rest of the season?
We've had four individuals: Israel, JC, RJ, Roderick, and Machias Scott, on top of the 3 that opted out early in the season. So 7 total.
And Scott would be a transfer and Roderick professional, or they just said they're opting out for the rest?
They said they're opting out for COVID reasons and personal reasons. Didn't get into it. They have the NCAA's granted people the option to opt out, and so there's really nothing you can do about it.
Go to David.
Hey, Mike, thanks for doing this. When you met with the team this morning, just what'd you talk to them about? What was the tone of that meeting? What was their attitude going on to the practice?
We talked about it being about us. We talked about it's not an individual sport, it's a team sport. And the people that are in this room today showed up and are ready to go to work. And we're going to put our best foot forward and put our best effort on the field on Saturday. And the only way that's going to happen is not through words, but through action and having a good practice today, one tomorrow. And those are our 2 work days, Tuesday and Wednesday. So that was the main message.
Hill McGranahan.
Hey, Coach, since yesterday when you're lamenting about how you hadn't had a chance to get into Missouri's game plan, what do you feel like you've been able to accomplish as far as getting ready for the game on Saturday?
Well, I think, Missouri, first of all, just looking at their defense, I'll speak to that side of the ball first. They're going to commit to stopping the run. And that's obviously been our strong suit this year is the run game. But it really doesn't matter who they play. They pack the box. They base have an odd defense, and they'll reduce it down to what you call a bear defense, or some of you might know as 46 defense, what the old Bears used to play today, and they're going to play man-to-man coverage outside. They do a lot of movement inside, some line games, very similar to Texas A&M, which gave us some problems up front and blocking some of that movement present a really, really difficult challenge. Linebacker Bolton, I believe his name, number 32, is one of the best linebackers that we faced all year, one of the best linebackers I've seen in a long time. He's very active. He can run. He will strike you. They do a good job of protecting him and keeping linemen off of him. In the back end, they play man-to-man. Rakestraw, the young quarter, number 2, very good player. He's committed to me at Colorado State for a while. He's got length. He's got range. The other corner, number 8, also has length. Is very, 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 very handsy. Does a good job. The nose guard, Kobe Whiteside, is not the biggest guy, but he's extremely strong and can push the pocket. It's a little bit of a matchup problem for our center. Offensively, he does a great job. Eli does a great job of spreading you out, but also giving you some two-back run game principles, major heavily in the stretch game. Like to get on the edge of your defense and stretch you out, and then, run enough counter, not your traditional counter where they pull the guard and the tight end, what you see nowadays. It's the old school counter, which is probably more traditional, the guard tackle counter. Do a really good job of that. They have enough, quarterback run to keep you honest. And they got, I know they've had issues on both sides of the ball with COVID, but they've had skill step up and make plays. Number 9 is one of the fastest guys I've seen on tape, and the quarterback's an accurate player. So it's a big challenge for us. They haven't played, I'm trying to, since the Florida game. So they've been off for a couple weeks. They've got some guys back from what I'm reading. So I'm sure they're rested and healthy. So it's going to be a big challenge for us, and we're going to have to play very well in this game.
Josh Kendall. Josh Kendall.
Mike, you mentioned yesterday that it had been a long year for these kids. Do you think that was part of the reason you've had 4 guys leave under these circumstances this week?
Well, I think that obviously could attribute to it. I can't speak personally for each one of those guys because you only know you don't know exactly what's going on with each individual. Now, there was communication with all these guys. It's been a long year. It's a different year, and when it's told to young kids that hey, you don't have to play this year. You can opt out, and it doesn't count. It gives them a way out, in my opinion. And it's like anything, human nature. I'll put it off till later. I'll start working harder later in the spring, or I'll wait till next year. And that's unfortunately, I think this isn't the only place that coaches are having issues with a long season and the ability to opt out. And I think that's why it's so important that it is a team game. It is about us. It's not about you individually. And everybody's got their own reasons of why they do it. And there's no hard feelings to anybody. But the guys that are here, it's got to be about us and not the individual.
Do you have any indication that you'll hear from more, or do you think this is it?
I think this is it, but you never know. We've had communication with all the guys, the last 2 days. Coaches individually with their position groups, one-on-one. Myself with a number of guys, and I feel like these guys want to play and play for each other. And now we got to have a good week of practice and get ready to play Saturday night. But you never know, to be honest.
Travaris is from an immediate impact standpoint. Travaris has lost three starting defensive backs. Do you know what he plans to do to field a group back there?
Yeah, we have we've moved Jacondre White to defensive back to play a little safety for us. Today was his first day, at that position. We have 3 games left. I talked to him yesterday, myself and Coach Robinson, about the move. And he wants to be a running back, and he is a running back. But he's one of our best, athletes. He does a great job since we've moved him to gunner on special teams, and very, very energetic, loves playing ball. and trying to get him on that side and get him active. Jordan Rhodes, we've moved to defensive line to help with the depth there and a little bit of a size issue we have up front. I mean, our guys are playing their tails off, but they're planning to play a lot of snaps, and we're a little bit undersized up front. So trying to get some more beef up front. And there's lots of different ways to skin a cat. Right now, we're trying to figure out that. Coach T. Rob and his staff right now of what we can do. To be aggressive and stop the run because he is committed to the run. But be good in the back end. And I think that's you got to mix things up. Anybody, if you play the same thing over and over, they're going to take advantage of you. So we're getting a good plan of we want to be aggressive, but at the same time, not give up the big play. Last week we gave up those big, huge explosives, which will kill anybody. You make a team go 14, plays. Usually they're gonna self-destruct, and then Ole Miss was a little bit, and we let them off the hook in some cases when they had to go 14 plays. So we need to make the team go the long haul and earn it.
Thanks, Mike.
Colin Taylor.
Mike, 2 questions for you. Is T-Rob still planning on calling the defense this week?
Correct. Yes.
And I guess, how would you evaluate Colin Hill's performance this year, and what have you seen him do well and not do so well?
First of all, I think he plays a position that all eyes are on, and we all know the nature of the position. We talk about it in our room. I've talked about it in my room since I started coaching. When things are going well, you're the best thing since sliced bread. And when they're not, doesn't matter what's happening. It's the quarterback's fault. That's the way it goes. I think he has played well. There have been some times that we'd like to have a play back here or there, but that's any quarterback you watch, whether you're watching them on Saturday or Sunday. There's things sometimes that play you'd like to have plays over. Bottom line is we need to play better around our quarterback. That's the bottom line. We need to make some contested catches. We haven't made a contested catch all year besides Shi Smith's one catch against Auburn. We haven't made those. And last week I thought he played. He was very, very efficient. Played his best game. He had one pass that got away from him on a fade route where we should have released outside, but we went inside. We got to see that, and we got to paint the ball on him. And then we had a RPO run concept that we should have handed off. Other than that, he put us in the right position. He was flawless. He was accurate. He did a nice job. There's hundreds of things that we go over offensively, and I go over coaching that position that we can do better on a daily basis in a game, and we're always striving to get better. But I think he's played well. I think we need to play better around him, and I thought we did a little bit of that last week.
Rick Henry.
Hey, Coach, when we talked to you yesterday, you were already facing a big challenge, especially making sure that the guys are focused after just the emotional day of saying goodbye to Coach Muschamp. And now with 4 of their teammates leaving, is that challenge even bigger for you? Because, in addition to getting the team ready to play another football game, maybe you have to make sure their minds, their heads are in the right place, because I imagine after the past few days, their heads are just continuing to swirl a little bit.
No question, Rick. It's a challenge enough when you got to take over and you're not the head coach and the interim coach, and you step in, and then it's a challenge in this year with what we're dealing with kids being able to opt out at any moment. But so that's why. We usually do a team meeting, because of COVID, we have to do it in the indoor. We usually do it after meetings. We started the day with that this morning at 7:30 in the morning, and basically address the things that you're talking about. The guys that are here are here. No ill will to anybody that's not here, but the guys that are here are here. We're here for a reason. We have a great opportunity in the face of adversity to rise up. And that's what defines you, is when you're able to rise up and handle adversity. And it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to create memories in this group, in this family. And And so those are some of the things that we talked about. And again, they can't be words. I can say what I want to say. It's got to come from those guys that are still here on this team to dig down and believe and play for each other and play for South Carolina.
Mike Yuba.
Mike, I know throughout training camp, what would tell us, here and there that practices were pretty well. There wasn't a day in terms of saying, hey, pick things up. He felt pretty good throughout training camp and throughout the season. How was practice today in terms of how the guys just handled things? And was there ever a moment you had to stop things and just say, hey guys, we're all in this together or anything like that?
No, I didn't stop practice, but it wasn't good enough to beat Missouri. I'll tell you that. And I told them that. And can't flip a switch on Saturday night and say you're ready to play. So we got to have better practice tomorrow.
Kyle Thomas.
Coach, obviously with everything going on, there's maybe a lot of pressures that you're feeling. How do you navigate and deal with that going into this weekend?
Well, I think pressure is a privilege. You're put in a position that's a situation that has pressure. I like that feeling. I like having our backs against the wall. I like, I hated our performance against Texas A&M offensively. I had the worst day of coaching career offensively as an offensive coach, and there's a lot of pressure. And what we talk to our kids about offensively is how are we going to respond to that pressure? Are we going to respond? Are we going to fold up, as my dad used to say, are we going to fold up like a cheap tent? Same thing here, how are we going to respond to the pressure that we have, that to play 3 more games? You embrace that pressure, by going out and preparing and having fun. Connor Shaw, you have to ask him the direct quote when you talk to him, but we do it like a little Devo motivational in the quarterback room. And I had to step out, and when he was starting it, because I forgot to do my COVID test this morning, so I had to run downstairs and and it was about, enthusiasm and having fun and how it affects pressure. So you might need to ask him about that, but it's basically, you go out, you prepare, and you go out and we're playing a game. If you prepare the right way, then you go out and you have fun, that eliminates the pressure. And that's kind of, what that takes care of the pressure when you're prepared.
Chandler Mack.
Hey, Coach, thanks for doing this today. Just kind of going back to, you said earlier that you guys needed to play better around Colin Hill. The receivers needed to play better. Kevin
You
Harris
just said receivers. I didn't say receivers. You said receivers, but.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, my bad. Just the guys around Colin Hill need to play better. Kevin Harris had a really good game against Ole Miss. Shi Smith had a really good game. 2-part question. Talk me about who are some of the other guys who you feel kind of need to step up to play better around Colin Hill? And then 2, going into the game against Mizzou, can we expect a 2 or 3 quarterback system with Hill, Doty, and possibly Ryan Helinski playing?
I'm not going to get in our plan for the game plan offensive of the the quarterback position, whether we're going to use more than one. As far as stepping up, that's all it's protection. It's all 10 guys around him doing their job. It's making a play that's not perfect. That's some things that we struggle to do. If things aren't perfect, we don't make the play. We got to get tight ends more involved, and that was not necessarily their fault last week. It was a little bit of mine. I didn't get them involved as much as I have in the past. And then we've got to get help at the outside receiver. Xavier Leggett, God bless him, has been banged up all year. He missed last game again. He didn't practice today. We have not, I don't know what the number is, but outside receivers catching balls is very, very minimum. When your offense is centered around a run game and a slot receiver, it makes it difficult for anybody. Outside receiver presence and ability to make plays on the outside has been, a thorn on our side offensively. We got to keep giving them opportunities. And I need to give them more opportunities as a play caller to make some plays and have opportunities to make contested catches. But, we got to get help outside. When you're tight end in your slot or your threats and your tailback, it helps the defense in a lot of ways.
Ben Brenner.
Mike, two-part question. First of all, you mentioned that RPO that Colin should have handed off. What exactly were the mechanics and what went wrong on that one? And also, what did you kind of learn about Ryan and about Colin as they went through that kind of reopened quarterback thing last week?
Yeah, I'm not, get the RPO. It was press coverage, and we should have handed it off first press. It's just it's a mistake that we made, and when in a game like that, that's back and forth. I think it was 45-42 at the time, and we need to answer. It's just, it was magnified, and those things happen. But made a lot of nice plays to get us to that point. Just that one play, was magnified, and we didn't answer. Because at the end of the day, offensively, your job is to score more points than them. And there's nobody patting nobody on the back. We didn't do our job. We need to score more points than them. As far as competing and opening up the competition last week, it was a challenge made to them that, and this is exactly what Coach said to them, that we got to play better around the quarterback, but we got to play better at quarterback. We're going to open it up, and all three guys could play. And Colin, answered that challenge, and he played very well in the game, and there was not a need for us to play anybody else in the game. And I'm going to say this, okay? The best guy at every position is going to play in a game, period. That gives us the best chance to win. I've been coaching for a long time, and I've been coaching quarterbacks for a long time. I'm not an expert or a guru, but I know what it takes to win at that position and get things done.
David?
Hey, Mike, a couple for you. One, have you guys heard any, indication that Missouri might still be reeling from their COVID test last week, or go for Saturday night?
No, I had Coach George Wynn check, after the Sunday test, and feels like, I think we're good to go. But we tested again this morning. Our results aren't back. I think they test on Tuesday. So those things could change, at any moment. Right now, my conversations with Ray Tanner and Coach Wynn leading up through yesterday was, we're good to go. But those things could change today.
And also, Aaron Sterling and Brad Johnson missed the Ole Miss game. Will they be back this week?
No, they are out and injured. They're out for the year.
Kim Gaskins?
Hey, Coach, yesterday you mentioned just kind of how your preparation changes, having to assume the roles of head coach while also worrying about the offense. I'm just curious, on game day, how your role looks different on the sidelines, having to, worry about the offense while also doing everything else a head coach has to do during a game.
That's one of the reasons why, one of the appointments for the 10th coach was Connor Shaw, to have communication with the quarterbacks, and relay some things that might be drawn up. Talked about, whether he's in the box or on the sideline sitting next to him. I haven't decided that, where, I can't walk over there and sometimes I've done that, being a head coach and calling plays at Colorado State, have to go over there and show some guys some stuff that you want to make sure you get it exactly right. But Connor will be, kind of communicating with them between series. I'll be listening and talking, but, got to be, locked into what's going on defensively and game management. So that will be a change. Where you normally in a game, I don't hardly see any of the defensive, because I'm either drawing something or talking to a player, so you don't see much of what's going on defensively.
Kyle Thomas?
Coach, with players who are injured on the defense and offense, and now 4 players who are opting out for the rest of the season, what's that conversation like with the next man up who steps up and has to take over for that position?
Well, you basically said it. It's next man up. It's the the opportunity that you've been working for in practice. And you tell these kids all the time, it doesn't matter if hey, when season starts, whether you're on scout team, whether you're third team or your second team, you got to continue to work to improve, because if you're not, when your opportunity comes, you're not going to be ready. Your opportunity is not when somebody goes down and they put you in. Your opportunity is every day to improve as a football player, to improve doing your job, to help your side of the ball, whether it's a role on special teams, whether it's playing scout team. So that's the message. If you're not ready, this week because somebody went down, then you've wasted the last 6 months or 5 months, however long we've been practicing and playing. It seems like forever, and you're going to let your team down. So we got to figure out through these practices, who's ready for that moment, who can go out there and be productive and put ourselves in position to be productive, to move the ball offensively, or to do their job defensively where it won't hurt the defense or hurt the team.
Colin Taylor.
Yeah, Mike, I guess talking to T-Rob, who's going to start at those two cornerback positions with JC and Izzy obviously opting out, and how confident is he in y'all's conversations that some of the struggles defensively can be turned
We're
around?
we're still in the process of figuring that out. Obviously, Cam and John Dixon have played a lot of corner. They've been playing a lot of corner. Cam had the injury with his heel, but they've been playing a lot of corner all year. Izzy has played a little bit of safety, and JC playing nickel. So they've got reps at corner. Right now I would say it would be, those two, but you guys got guys like Joey Hunter who's repping and Rush who's repping, and it's, they're competing out there, for playing. We're looking for guys that are going out there and going to play their tails off for each other right now, and they can function and do a job.
Phil Kornblut.
Okay. All right. I know you like video, Coach. I'm trying to get that. Don't mean to scare you there. So you had two of your leaders, 4 guys opt out, but 2 in particular, the 2 leaders on defense. So Shi Smith has been a leader for you, I guess, for the overall team and on offense as well in particular. What have your conversations been like with him, considering he's having a great year and is looking to the draft as well? Did you have to talk with him to convince him to stay? Did that ever come up, or has he been 100% all in with you since this happened?
I tell you what, I've been proud of Shi Smith. You hear a lot of things when you take over a place, and what guy's been, and we've challenged Shi since day one, and he's responded. Is he perfect? No, none of us are sitting here, me talking, or none of these players. But I've been proud of how he's competed. I've been proud of the way he's been a good team guy when the ball's not coming to him. And funny you asked that question on the plane ride home. Nobody was in the seat next to him. He was on the plane early, and I just went over there, and talked to him about how proud I was of him, how he's worked, and what he got to continue to do, to improve himself, not only for this team, but for down the road. And kind of the message to Shi since we got here, and it's not about you, it's about the team. And if it's about the team, your play, all right, will improve greatly. If it's just about you, your play is going to suffer and the team's play is going to suffer. And that was the message to the team this morning. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about Coach T-Rob. It's not about Coach Wolf. It's about us. And so that's the message. I want guys that it's about us to take the field with. And then, if we do that, we work hard, and they lay it on the line, then, you put your head down at night and go to sleep and have some peace about, you prepared them and you got the guys out there fought their tails off.
Mitch Brown.
Coach, obviously it's not under the circumstances you wanted, but how timely is it to have someone like Connor Shaw be on the field, and someone that can relate, has been working with the players directly in a different aspect this season?
Well, I like it. One, he's been here since Coach hired him, since Marcus left to pursue other things. And he's done a great job building a rapport with the guys. He's always around those guys. Obviously, he spent more time around me and the quarterbacks because that's the position he plays, naturally drawn to that. But just I think the guys respect him because of who he's been since he's been here. Obviously, they see his picture in the indoor. They know he's the all-time leading quarterback in South Carolina history. But I think the respect for him, as it goes, how he treats everybody on a daily basis, and it's about them and not him. So I think that level of respect he earned since he's been here. The other part I like is that he's an alumni here. He's an alumni here in this program. He's got pride in South Carolina, so his pride, is going to show through. Now it'll primarily show through the offense because that's who will be around this week. But I think it's always good when you've got guys that play here and have more pride in what's going on.
John Whittle.
Yeah, with Zaquandre, excuse me. It seems like he's always had a lot of energy and enthusiasm. What does it say to you about him as a player and a person to be willing to not only have that positive attitude when he's third string running back coming in to compete for the job, but also go and move over to safety, switch sides of the ball on the drop of a dime like that?
I love it. I told him yesterday when I met with him. I love that kid because he's got heart. Obviously, he wants to be the starting running back. Obviously, he wants to get a chance to get in the game and carry the ball. But that doesn't affect how he practices. You guys can't see practice. This guy's the best practice player we have. It doesn't affect his enthusiasm on the sideline. It doesn't affect how he, covers kickoffs or covers punts. He wants to be there. Don't get me wrong. He wants to be that, but he said, I want to do those things on special teams and, try to, build the confidence up that Coach Kitchen to having me and you to having me to put me in the game at running back. I know I lost some confidence with a fumble, and I'm trying to earn that back. And, I want to be a running back, but if, that's what we need, I'll do it. I'll do it. And I said, that's why I came to you. I want to get you on the field and have an opportunity to play. And now we got to see how these two guys go. If he's going to go over there and we don't feel like it's a chance for him to play, then he's gonna come back, because the worst thing you do is ask a guy to move, and then the opportunity doesn't present itself on that side of the field. So, but main thing goes back to being honest and transparent with him, with what we think of him as a coach at that position. But as far as heart and loving the game, he's the kind of guy you want on your team.
Ben Brenner.
Mike, two questions. First of all, with kind of all this changeover, how much extra responsibility is Joe Cox taking on? And then also you mentioned kind of the lack of outside receiver production. With sort of that reality, have you been able to run the full offensive scheme that you kind of wanted to, or is that factor limited it at all?
As far as Joe Cox, he's taken over a huge role. He's in there with the offense right now. Going over, some of the practice clips and some formation stuff. We still have some situations to get done and, work on third down and red zone. That's part of what we do today. Joe's been with me, obviously played for me, but, out at Colorado State as a graduate assistant and as an assistant coach. And he's seen, this offense evolve from what it was when he played to where it is now and, everything in between. So the adjustments that I would make for certain things, he knows those and knows the answers. So really, really glad that I have Joe here. And then the other offensive staff guys have been all in. They've been great. We've asked them to do some different things that they haven't done before. Just take last week. The run game we did last week was totally different than, probably a run game that Coach Wolf is used to. And we bought in, got the kid. And one thing for me to say it, but the position coaches got to get the kids to believe. And those kids believed, and they played the way you want them to play. They believed that we were going to have success running because they believed in the plan, because Coach Wolf believed in the plan. And that's part of everything. What was the other question? I'm sorry.
Just with kind of, you mentioned sort of the limited production on the outside.
Yeah.
Does that limit you schematically?
Yeah, it's a lot different. You just look at the production. Over the years, you usually have an X receiver, boundary receiver that's close to 80 to 100 catches in this offense. Now we're a different, because of 10-game season and all that, but the production has went elsewhere. And then, it's lacking some production because we're not getting, most of the production is tailbacks, slot receiver, and a little bit of tight end. And, and that's partly on me, Ben. And I told those guys, I said, after the A&M game, I told them, I said, it's about building, it's about trust, all right? You trust in what we're doing and believing in that, and me trusting you. It goes both ways. I can't ask you to trust me if I don't trust you and give you an opportunity. So, we gave more opportunities Saturday. We're going to continue to give more opportunities, but we got to make some of those plays in those opportunities. People used to call them 50-50 balls, but they're not 50-50 balls anymore. They're like 70-30 is what teams catch when they throw it outside versus contested, because of ball placement and back shoulder. And then, if guys get handsy, you get interference calls. So it's not really such thing as a 50-50 ball. We're probably at, I don't know what our percentage is. It's not very good. I wish we were 50-50.
All right, we're going to try to get through these last few questions, so no more hands at this point. We'll try to get through the ones we have. Mike Uva?
Mike, more of a lighthearted question that we'll enjoy talking about at this time of the year. I know your son, like Will, is getting ready for a state championship this week. And, this has been obviously a different year for Drew in terms of moving across country and being able to play for a former USC quarterback like Eric Emery. What has that experience been like watching that as a father? And what do you think come state championship night?
Yeah, I'm excited for him. I think it's been a good change for him. To be here in the South, to play for Coach Kimry and Coach Barnes, two guys that played here in South Carolina, but played the game and know the game. And, I've seen so much improvement for him. And you usually see improvement from guys when they go to the 10th and 11th grade years, but just fundamentally, he's having fun. And that's, you want your kids to have a good experience. My thing is I don't ask any football questions of, scheme they're running. I just want to see his ass play hard. You better play hard. You better play for your team, and it's not about you. That's all I ever. I watch it every time we're on the road. After I finish our meetings, I'll go up and I'm watching it, and it's, are you playing hard? Because if you're playing hard and you're playing for the team and doing your job, you're going to have fun, and that's great. They made the state championship. I know he's excited. He's come close to a lot of guys over there, especially Coach Muschamp's son, even though he's a little bit younger. So I think it's good that, those two are even together. Now they're both going through, a difficult time right now because it's hard on kids. It's hard on families, when, they don't know those kids don't know where they're going to go to school next year. And that's a tough thing. That's the nature of this business. It's the nature of this profession. At the same time, there's a lot of great things that come out of this profession that your kids get to be around too.
Chandler Mack?
Hey, Coach, talk to us a little bit about Kevin Harris. Kevin Harris had an all-time performance against Ole Miss on Saturday night, and it seems like that's obviously has been forgotten over these past couple of days. So talk to me what his morale is like right now, and just what has been the conversations that you've had with him this week?
I haven't personally sat down with Kevin and talked to him this week, but talking to Coach Kitchens and talking to Coach Wolford, the morale's high. The offensive line and the tight ends and Adam Prentice, they're excited that they've got a guy that's getting close to 1,000 yards. I think he's up there in the conference in rushing yards, and that's a badge of honor for all of us. That line of scrimmage and that fullback and tight ends. And Kevin is, he's excited about it, and you could see him getting stronger and stronger as the year goes on. Just been really, proud of him. He's been patient in his runs. We worked really hard on those runs that we worked last week. They were a little bit different scheme and a little bit different tracks, and early in the week we weren't hitting them, but Coach did a great job of coaching them up on the looks they were get, the tracks that were gonna happen, and how we were gonna block it. That's it's one thing to just hand the ball off and run, but if you know how we're trying to block things and why we're checking it, you've got a chance to do what we did the other night and divide runs. And the thing about Kevin, if you get him in the open space, he's shown not just in one game, time and time again, to take it to the house. And you can't say enough about that. Man, a lot of times over the years we blocked for 10, and got 14, or blocked for 20 and we got 25, or we don't get that home run. I mean, this guy is taking the ball to the house, and and that's a credit to him, and that's a credit to that O-line, Coach Wolf. Those kids, that's a credit to Coach Bentley and those tight ends. That's a credit to Coach Kitchen, fullback. I mean, receivers blocking downfield, quarterback in us in the right play. I mean, I think we looked it up the other day. It's like 67% of his yards are yards before contact. and that's doing a good job at the point of attack. I mean, that's a huge number of yards before contact yards.
Kyle Thomas.
Over the past few weeks, Coach, have you noticed the morale and the energy and enthusiasm of the team kind of shift with all these changes going on?
Well, I mean, I think I said it. I don't know if I said it to you guys, but when you lose, it's bad for team morale. You know, it is. You know, winning's good for team morale. And we haven't played well, and we've lost. And morale, you know, it's human nature. You get down. You know, but you know, kids are resilient. You know, kids are resilient, and they're gonna bounce back. And you know, it's been a tough 2 weeks. It's been a tough 2 days for these kids. You know, and you know, we're gonna bounce back. They're gonna respond. You know, we're gonna rally the troops, and those guys have got to rally each other and go out and play well. Nobody's gonna feel sorry for us. Okay, nobody's gonna feel sorry for you in life when things don't go your way either. It's how you respond to those challenges, and that's you know, that's my message. You know, I want guys that want to respond and want to fight, and try to finish this thing off the right way.
Colin Taylor.
Yeah, Mike. Just now that you're interim head coach, do you change any way you guys practice? You guys do anything from a logistical standpoint, and kind of how do you plan on handling Sundays after games?
I ain't got that far yet, but this week, Tuesday and Wednesday, you know, Monday was our off day, but Tuesday and Wednesday are work days. Today was more first, second down. Tomorrow will be more situational stuff, you know, red zone, third down, stuff that we got to work in for situations. Obviously, special teams in both days. Thursday will be a total walkthrough. We will not go on the field on Thursday. We won't be in helmets. We'll be a total walkthrough. I feel like we're a little bit banged up. Obviously, we're banged up. We're short guys with guys opting out. So we're going to walk through on Thursday, and then we're going to come back Friday and do what I'm going to call a fast Friday. Thursday's a no sweat Thursday. We won't sweat. Friday will be a fast Friday on the field. We'll hit offense, defense, and run through all the special teams at game speed. Won't be on the field long, but it'll be fast game speed type stuff. And then Saturday, I think we're going to come over here and actually walk through over here and allow the kids to get in the cold tubs, hot tubs, since it's a long day at the hotel. There's nothing more miserable than sitting at the hotel all day. So that'll be a little bit different. Whether we go on Sunday or not, I haven't decided.
Last question goes to Phil Kornbluth.
Yeah, Mike, 3 quick things. The guys who opted out, will they be welcomed on the sidelines for the last 2 home games? Secondly, what have you guys heard back from your committed players at this point? Anybody telling you they're not sticking? And thirdly, you do have 2 home games left. What do you hope to see from the fans that will turn out for these last 2 home games?
Okay. Number one, when you opt out, it's the rule. The university rule is that you're no longer part of the program because you're you know, we have strict protocols and strict guidelines for COVID. So when you opt out, you know, you're still going to school. You're doing, but you're on your own. You're not around the guys. You know, they check in with Coach Wynn and their academic people, but they're not in the building and will not be on the sideline. Second one was the third. What was the second one? I can't hear. I'm deaf. Recruits. Okay. All right. The recruits. Yeah, we've been communicating to guys. I've talked to a couple guys. Been texting a lot of guys. That's the way these guys communicate now. And like I said, I think it was yesterday I talked to you guys. It's about being honest and transparent where we're at. That coaches, you know, having a coaching search. You know, encourage the guys, you know, to be patient and see what's happening, and encourage the guys that this is a great place. And you chose this place for a number of reasons. Obviously, Coach Muschamp was one of them. But just, you know, being honest and saying the opportunity's there, and you know, Coach, we're going to honor your scholarship, and if you want to sign on the 16th, you know, we're going to take your NLI. Last thing is, you know, what I want to see from the fans. I want to see from our team go out and play hard and play together. I mean, that's what I want to see. You know, Mark Rigg used to say his mom doesn't know football, but she knows if we're playing hard. So I want Mark Rick's mom, if she's watching, to say, "Boy, that team played hard." You know, fans are fans, and you know, I'm gonna say this about fans. Okay, This is passion place. Okay, here in South Carolina, passion in the SEC. That's what makes the SEC what it is. And there's no running from it. You're never going to please everybody. Your job is to do the best job you can do and try to put the product on the field to win games. The passion of SEC football is what makes SEC football great. All right.
All right. Thank you,
That's
Coach.
it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Again, if you stick around, we will have Connor Shaw here in just a minute. All right, I don't think that Connor wants to make an opening statement, so I think we'll just go ahead and open it up for questions. David with the first one.
Well, Connor, I know it's not a strange thing to be around this program, but what has changed since now you're officially part of the staff, and what's changed now that you're gotten back into being an actual college coach?
Yeah. Well, obviously, there's been a lot of change this year. It's been change for coaches and players and myself, and then the transition from, a role with player development to being on the field. But I'm excited. I really am. Obviously, I have a lot of great memories here as a player in that position, and it was fun being in the quarterback room this morning. It was fun being involved in the field today, and that's what I told our quarterbacks. We have 3 weeks to go compete, have a lot of fun, make some memories, and have a lot of pride for what we do. Individually, but also as a team.
Mike Yuba.
Connor, I know the circumstances, I'm sure you wouldn't have liked this to play out in terms of being able to get back into this role, but having that experience of coaching over at Furman, did you envision yourself one day being able to get back on the field and coaching?
Well, I grew up in a locker room. Dad's a coach. My brother's a coach. It's basically how I was raised. So I don't think I've ever left the game, even when I wasn't in football the past couple of years. I've always sort of envisioned myself being very closely attached to the game of football, and I'm excited to be on the field. Grateful for the opportunity.
Ben Briner.
Hey, Connor. First, congrats on the quasi promotion, I guess. And what do you kind of take from the time that you spent at Furman, and how do you maybe approach a coaching role differently compared to that time?
I don't know if Furman's a good example. I mean, I was in a room there. Obviously, it's much different schematically. I think it's really helped me just this year. I've sat in, the quarterback rooms and some of the staff rooms when they were installing, just being a part of it. And I think that's what's going to help me transition into this job. Not necessarily, what happened at Furman, but, again, I'm a part of, I've learned a lot of football from Coach Bobo the past 7 or 8 months. Feels like I'm back in a room with Kyle Shanahan in Cleveland. Very detail-oriented, very structured, and asks a lot from a quarterback, but for them to take total command of the offense. And so that's it's been a joy for me to be a part of.
Rick Henry.
Hey, Connor, good to see you, and congratulations on your new role. I was wondering, what type of things did you share with Colin? What advice did you give him throughout the course of the season? And now that you're going to be working with him full time, what's going to be your focus to make him the best quarterback he can be? And also, how would you assess the overall mood of the team after a couple of tumultuous days?
I'll answer that question first. This is the first practice where, the head coach is not there anymore. And so obviously some guys, it's going to be a difficult process to respond to. A lot of those guys known them for the past known Coach Muschamp for the past 4 or 5 years. But we still have belief that we can go play this game well, and belief in each other for the next 3 weeks. And with Colin, my main thing with him, but also the quarterback room, has been just being consistent. The world around us, things that are not in control, it can be very up and down, and that's life. That's the game of football. But if we can be consistent in who we are, consistent in our preparation and our approach, and in our attitude and the way that we execute on Saturdays, we'll find ourselves in a good spot. I'll say this too. Jay Urich earlier in the year he kind of proposed that we do like a daily devo a devotional in the quarterback room. So through the week, each quarterback will rotate through and share what's been on their heart, whether it's scripture-based or mindset or whatever they've been feeling. And the thing that I said this morning with Coach and the quarterbacks is joy, believe, and fight. I think the first thing, sometimes we forget that this game's meant to be fun. You know, Al Saunders, the receivers coach in 2015 in Cleveland, said if you erase some of the negativity and the unfortunate circumstances around the game that sometimes lingers around the game's pure. Like we're still blocking, tackling, and running and catching and throwing. It's meant to be fun. And so we need to have a great level of joy when we come in the building and understand that we're all playing football, you know, and then believe in each other, you know, believe in ourselves individually, you know, believe in the brand, believe in the coaches, believe in the process and the plan, and then fight. You know, fighters fight. You know, good things happen to people who don't give up. And I think we're put in that position right now, you know, collectively to understand that we still get to come in here. We're still on scholarship, most of the guys. We still, you know, are getting our school paid for. We're still playing a game that we love. We still have a lot to play for these next 3 weeks. And then believe and fight. You know, I read a quote from Ken Griffey Jr. said, when you have fun, it turns pressure into pleasure. And there's not a whole lot of pressure on us now. We can go have fun playing a game and compete at a high level.
Kyle Thomas.
Connor, thanks for being here. So you have wisdom and experience being a player, and we think back to the last time you played Missouri your senior year where you stepped up and had the huge game and won it in overtime for us. So what do your conversations look like to Ryan and to Luke as they're not the number one quarterback right now?
Yeah, I think for them, it's getting mental reps, it's staying locked in. I think we've all been a part of this game long enough where things can happen on a fly, and when your number's called, you better be prepared because you know you might not get that another opportunity. So I'm very proud of the growth in the room. I've had sort of a bird's eye perspective the past several months as this season's unfolded in my position with player development, and they've all grown, they've all matured, and they've all gotten better, and that's all they can do. That's all the only thing that's in their control. And so, I think I do. I know Coach Bobo does, and the rest of this team have confidence in every one of those guys.
Josh Kendall.
Hey, Connor. You, from your previous role, probably have a different perspective for what the players are going through in terms of this being a long year because of COVID, because of trying to live in a semi-bubble. What lessons have you learned from them that you think you can carry forward now to keep this group together? We've seen 4 guys leave. They don't have their head coach. How hard are these guys hanging on, and how do you help them?
Yeah, well, I think you learn a lot more when things go wrong. This is a learning lesson for everyone, and you learn more from that than when things go right. I think them moving forward, learning how to persevere through some type of adversity. I was talking to Jalen Brooks earlier, and he was like, man, this is probably the toughest adversity he's ever had. And that's probably the case for a lot of guys on our team. But we're still put in a situation where, we don't have another choice but to go respond. Life goes on, and so we have to have the mindset to where we're going to continue to show up, be consistent, have fun, and keep fighting, man. Take pride in the locker room. The best cultures are player-led. I think, back when I've been a part of good programs and bad programs, back-to-back 3-13 Cleveland Browns, and obviously 3 consecutive 11-win season at South Carolina. And I think a lot of that came from how well the guys gel together. And I think that our guys are fighting for each other right now. And, we can easily talk about the uncertainty of the future for South Carolina. But there will be a time to reevaluate and to reflect on some things, and now's not the time. Right now we have Missouri to play on Saturday, and we've got practice tomorrow, and that's the only thing that we're looking to right now.
John Del Bianco.
Connor, what have conversations been like with your dad and your brother over the last couple of days about this new role?
Honestly, I haven't had a whole lot of time to talk to them. I had a conversation with my dad last night, and also my brother and my mom, and they're excited for me. They're looking forward to coming to a game. I think they're coming to the Georgia game, but You can tell they're joyful about it. And, I think my dad's always wanted this of me, to be in a position where I could, to be back on the field. But there's so many lessons that I've learned from him. He's been started 2 programs, knows how to build culture, knows how, instill belief in the players and get the guys to ride for the brand. And so I think that a lot of that's helped me to understand how you cultivate a culture. How do you get guys to believe in themselves and what the process and the plan from the coaches. But that was a fun conversation with my dad and my brother for sure.
Ben Briner?
I guess now that you've been promoted to on-field assistant coach, you can also get involved on the recruiting side, make calls on that front. How much are they kind of throwing you into that, and how much of a role are you taking there?
Right now it's my goal is to get our quarterbacks to understand the plan for Missouri and to have the confidence to go execute it. I've had some conversations with Drew Hughes, a little bit about recruiting and reaching out to some guys, and I'm sure that'll pick up as we go. But I'm compartmentalizing day by day right now myself.
And the last question goes to Phil Kornblut.
Hey, Connor. Now that you've got a chance to be involved on the field coaching on the collegiate level at South Carolina, is it maybe your hope, your desire that whatever happens down the road with the coaching situation, that you would have a chance to stay on at South Carolina in an on-field coaching position, or if not South Carolina, somewhere else in an on-field coaching position versus being, back in a behind-the-scenes administrative role?
That's a fair question, Phil, and I'll give the same answer because I'm telling myself the same that I'm telling the players. There'll be a time to evaluate that and reflect on that and understand what, the future and what I want personally, my goals are. But, my goal right now is to get the guys ready for practice tomorrow and go execute the plan. I know I'm enjoying the past couple of days. I had a lot of fun on the field today, being involved in coaching up the quarterbacks a little bit. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I know that I want to keep this on my chest. I don't want to go anywhere. South Carolina's my home. We built a home in the summer. I want to raise my kids here, have great memories here. What type of role that looks like, we'll have that conversation when we get there. But we need to win this ball game on Saturday. And I'll tell you this for recruiting. At some point, it doesn't really matter, who the coach is, because the darn players need to fight for themselves. Again, the best cultures are player-led. I have a lot of belief in the men here. I have a lot of belief in Coach Bobo. I think he would do a great job. I really do. I think what he's done schematically this year has putting us in a chance to win and have some success. Obviously, Shai and Kevin has had big years. But this is a fun place to be at. We had some meetings with some recruits earlier this year, and I was a part of this place when we had the peak success, the 11-win seasons, and there's not a more exciting place to be when we're rolling. Williams-Brice there's not a more exciting place to play, and for that to be your home. And that's just the truth. That's not really a recruiting pitch. That's just my personal experience being a student athlete here and being back here.
All right. Thank you, Connor. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Connor. Appreciate it.
And that's a wrap for